All right, Leos. As we come from May, regarding your love life, you have a sense of, this is you, ones are fire signs. You have a sense of waiting. There's been some delay, okay? You're waiting for your ships to come in. Maybe you've met somebody. Maybe you're in a committed bond and things have not been going so well and you're working towards fixing things. And it's taking longer than you're wanting, okay? Leos, you are a fire sign. You are very impatient because, and that's not a bad thing, but you're impatient because you are so quick with your mind and you very quickly, immediately actually, understand what you're feeling and where things are going. And you can see passages and routes. You can see all the way to the end very quickly. You know where something will turn out. And this isn't in terms of projecting and then it manifests. No. You and all fire signs know what's going on. They see the beginning, they see the end, and they see every emotion and every action as it occurs and all the way to the end. And so sometimes in your communications, Leo, just in daily communications with people, you tend to get bored because your mind works so quickly. Not like an air sign, okay? You just know what's happening and where it's going. So you can, in daily conversation about something very simple like ice cream, you can say, hey, let's go get ice cream. And then you already in your mind with somebody can see you guys in the ice cream shop ordering. And then you can see yourself sitting under a tree on the grass eating it. And then you can see yourself cuddling on the grass on the blanket. And then you can see yourself driving home and hugging at the door and inviting somebody to watch a movie with you on Friday. And you can all, in one split second, less than a second, 1/10 of a second, you see all that progression. And then all of a sudden, it's a whole week later, and there you are on a date. So yes, you're projecting, but your mind works quicker than that. You're not causing the reality. You just know this is what you're doing. This is what you want. This is how the conversation's going to go. Okay. The whole reason I'm talking about that, Leo, is because you always have this sense of waiting for people to make up their minds, waiting for people to do things, waiting for a situation or a love relationship to progress at the level that you are already on in your mind. You're already committed because you know this person and you met them 2 or 3 days ago or a couple weeks ago, and you already know that this is somebody that you will have a love relationship with, and it's going to be committed, and you're going to be moving in together, and you see it all in 5 minutes. Okay? I know that probably sounds weird, and if other signs are watching that, it probably sounds like they're crazy, but it's not. Fire energies are very good at that, and their mind is extremely quick with that. And they get that impatience because they are waiting for other people to catch up with the tone of where it's already going, where they already will be 5 months from now. Other people have to go through this motion, go through this conversation, have this fight, fix it. Okay, now I feel emotionally stable. There's nothing wrong with any of that, but Leos and other fire signs already know and they already see that progression happening. And so there's always this sense of waiting. Okay, you're ready, you're prepared. Your projects, your life, your people, they're stable, they're firm. Everything's ready to go. You just need everybody else to catch up, okay? This is where you're coming from. You're probably coming from this position a lot, Leo, but this is where you are. So don't be impatient. Just understand that people process information differently and people process experiences and communications differently. So if you're already ahead of the game mentally, and just work with them, pull them, push them, communicate effectively so they can. Instead of being impatient, figure out a way to communicate to assist in the speeding up of whatever it is you're trying to do. Okay? Strength, you are strength. You're very strong. You're a fire sign. What I love about this card is this card also means not just internal strength, it means trust. Okay, these are two different species, and they trust each other. They also know, she knows that this lion can go back to his basic instincts as a lion and kill her. Not to be dark at all, but I'm just saying there's trust here. And he knows as an animal that she can decide to kill him, use his fur, eat him, I'm not saying that he knows that that's what she's going to do, but there's trust there. And I always say this, but in tarot, when there's an animal present, animals in real life, animals are very trustworthy, but they can sense your energy. So they can sense if somebody is not, they can sense if somebody's not trustworthy, or if there's a weird energy around them, that animal won't go around them. Dogs are very good at this. Cats are very good at this. But if they can sense that you're warm and kind, they'll just come right up to you and befriend you in 5 seconds. So there's this trust there. Okay, but there's also strength. This is your card, Leo. It's the primary position of June. So June, whatever happens, and it actually looks like a lot is going to be happening, you will remain strong. Now, there may be a water energy in your life, in your periphery, that's creating a challenge. This is also a benefit position, so don't worry too much about the challenge side of it, but you know what's going on. The Page of Cups is a very youthful energy, and they bring service. They bring messages of service. What they say assists you. Okay, they bring clarity. They bring willingness. They bring service. They want to be in your life. They want to be around you. They want to help. So let them. Okay? Leo, what is grounding your June is the 8 of Swords. There's a couple things I'm going to talk about here when we talk about the swords. First of all, in tarot, there are day cards and there are night cards. This is a night card, the dark sky. This is a day card, the light sky. Most of the cards are day cards. Night cards represent our internal feelings, our emotions, our internal fears, our internal hopes, our shadow side of ourselves. What is very important to realize about the night cards is that they are just our feelings, just our thoughts, are just our feelings and our emotions. Okay? They don't necessarily mean reality. It's just how we're feeling. That's what the night cards represent. When night cards are combined with swords, are representative of air signs, so Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. But the swords are ruled, the air signs are ruled by their thoughts and ideas. So in the head, again, they are ruled by their thoughts and their ideas. Swords represent thoughts and ideas. So when you look at a card like this, and I'm skipping to this card, we'll come back to this. When we look at a card like this, a lot of readers will say, this means that you feel defeated and you're sad and you're done and it's over. Yes, but it's also not reality. You make it reality by what you think and what your thoughts, your mind creates the reality. But what you need to understand is, so it's tricky to understand. I hope I'm being clear. But what you really need to understand is that these thoughts and emotions, okay, that are inside, they're not the reality until we make them reality. We choose with our thoughts to make them reality. We choose with our emotions to make this a reality. Yes, if a relationship ends, we don't feel good, our stomach hurts, we don't sleep. Yes, we feel sad, we feel angry, we feel hopeful, we feel confident, all in 5 minutes, right? But it's only when we choose to stay up all night crying, or when we choose to not eat because we don't feel hungry, because we don't think we feel hungry, is when we actually bring about this reality. So no matter what the situation occurs, yes, maybe somebody does break up with you. Maybe you don't feel good. You can still go to bed and get a good night's sleep, which impacts your mental state the next day. You can still make sure, even if you don't feel like eating, you can still make sure that you eat healthy. Yes, it's hard, but it doesn't mean that it has to impact our whole life on this level. It feels like this, but it doesn't have to be like this. Okay? That's the key with the Knight cards. And when there's Knight cards with swords, it's very important. Because as the swords progress in numbers, so does the intensity of the emotion. So does the intensity of the harshness of the thought. So does the intensity of the feeling of defeat, of despair, of sadness. Okay, that intensifies as the number increases. We're at 10. But just always remember, when you see these Knight cards, and when they're Knight and Sword cards, just remember that is not reality until you choose to make it reality. The reason why I'm saying that, we have grounding your position, Leo, is the 8 of Swords for June. You're remaining strong. You're waiting. It's starting to frustrate you, though. It's not impacting you yet, but it is starting to frustrate you. These are your thoughts. You are feeling trapped by your thoughts, trapped by the worry, trapped by maybe lack of communication. I don't know. But you're feeling trapped. You're feeling paralyzed. But remember, you're not really paralyzed. These are your thoughts. She can very easily drop these bandages and very easily remove this blindfold, very easily turn around and walk back to town and be social. Okay? It never feels good. But you can do that. That's a choice. That's a choice that we make in our mind. The reason why I'm saying that is, Leo, it doesn't look like, unless you're listening to me and actually going to take action, if you're feeling like this, it looks like in the near future you're going to actually start having it impact your life. So just keep in mind, do not do that. It's hard. It doesn't feel good. But notice here, he is looking out across his emotions, which is this water, and the sun is coming up on the horizon. So you can choose how long you make this a reality. Keep that in mind. That is so important. And it's never communicated enough. Okay? But swift communication's coming. Crowning the position. This might be you, Leo. These can be Cupid's arrows. These can be rapid changes in anything. This can be swift communication coming from you. Like I said, you're quick. Okay? You are quick. I have a friend that's a Leo, and he texts me, a lot. I mean, it's a lot of words all the time. And I'll respond with one word, or like a couple hours later, I'll respond with a short phrase. But it's just like boom, 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 for like, I don't even know, 5 minutes of texts. And so there's just a lot of words. There's a lot of communication. And that's just his Leo energy. Okay. I know that that's just his Leo energy. He's a swift communicator. He's a swift thinker. He's very quick with his ideas, and he's quick, and he's all impatient because a girl isn't communicating with him, and I'm just like, calm down. You just need to just give her space. Like, that means don't text her for 2 or 3 days, and then 5 minutes later he'll text me and say, oh, I texted her. What do I do? Okay, this is swift communication. All right, don't get stressed out if you're communicating a lot with somebody and they're not communicating back to you. And she, in fact, is an air sign, so it's even more funny because she's very quick. She's good with words because air signs are very good with words, but she's feeling bombarded, and so she doesn't respond, or she starts getting irritated, and then he feels like he messed it all up. Well, he actually did mess it all up, but that's a different story. So quick with words, but you have to be careful, okay? Just because you're saying all these things doesn't mean the other person is receiving them the same way that you're intending, and you may be scaring them away by saying too much, so just settle down, okay? This is generally a good card, but if you're feeling impatient and you're feeling strong and confident, and you're feeling trapped because somebody's not doing something that you want them to do, and you start communicating with them, the only thing I can really tell you to do is just settle down, calm down, slow down. All right? And we come to this, and I feel like you won't slow down. You will bombard, and it will stress you out. I already talked about this card enough. This is your near future. You choose how long you can stay here. You can choose how much of a reality you want to make this, and you can choose how long you're here in this state. The sun is coming up on the horizon. You have to go through these emotions, but I advise, go through the emotions. Don't sit here with your thoughts. Don't sit here being sad and upset. Go through the emotions as quickly as you can and realize the sun comes up on the other side. Next. Okay? It's never fun, but we all go through it. So this is in your control. And frankly, Leo, if anybody has in their mind the strength enough to say, I just feel like crap because this happened and I'm not going to deal with it. I'm just going to go out and be social like you do so well. All right, Leo, you're beautiful. You're probably very much in shape and you take very good care of your body. You like nice things. You're very social. You're very good with words. You're very good in social settings. So go be that way. It makes you feel good. Okay. Plus you're fire sign, so you like being out and about and talking to people and doing things and always experiencing new things. Okay. Go live in that energy. It will make you feel better. Don't sit here with your thoughts. You don't thrive in that type of environment. You thrive in being out and about. So go do that because it makes you feel better and brings you back to your power of strength. Okay. So in terms of love, Leo, frankly, it looks like something's not going to go so well because of your impatience, I think. And you're going to be really trying to make it work out in your favor, but it's not. And I'm really feeling you're forcing. This is usually a very good card, but this outcome card is a card of force and triumph, but it's a card of force. And I feel like these arrows are right here, going right directly towards this Ace of Swords. So you're trying to force something and they don't want to be forced, and it's going to really hurt you. Okay. But you're going to realize that here with the eighth major arcana card, the death card. Okay, this means new beginnings, transformation. Something is ending, something is beginning. This is the card of Scorpio. As you can see, the wind is pushing this night forward to a more peaceful place. There's a priest here. Their sun is coming up on the horizon just as it is here. But there is death and destruction behind him. Okay? He may be feeling like he's leaving a battle that he lost, but new things are on the horizon and he's walking towards it because that's all he can do. Okay? This is a beautiful card because when we go through phases and when something happens and we feel like we've lost a battle, there's always something good on the other side. It may be different than we expect. It may not be as good as we think, or as good as we want, or not as good as, but it may not be what we think we want, but it always ends up being good. It always ends up being what we needed. We just don't realize it. New beginnings. This is how you feel about the situation. Now keep in mind, this is how you feel about the situation. This is how you're feeling. This is how you're feeling. This is what you're doing. Okay? And Leo, also, I know you because you're a fire sign. You take things to the extreme. Everything's black or white. It's on or it's off. You're in or you're out. And there's a gray area that most people live in where they're seeing how things go. They're watching, they're analyzing, they're examining. And I'm an Aries, and I know you also don't live in that space well. We don't know how to be in that space without trying to force a resolution, because we can deal with anything. We can deal with anything as long as we know what we're dealing with. And so we get very stressed out and very uneasy with uncertainty, where most people, the majority of people, live in that space and they make things work in that space and they wait and they watch and they learn. We don't work that way. We have to know where we stand and then we can deal with it. So if it's an uneasy situation, we'd rather just have a breakup than wait for somebody to make a decision about us. Because at least if we know it's broken up, we can just move on and go be with somebody else. If there's a fight, or you're trying to work on a marriage for 5 years and it's, maybe the 6th year it would work, but you're tired, you're done, you don't want to talk about it anymore. So if it's not working, it's not working. Bye. And you're sad, but next, because what do? You don't operate in that space well. So you have to be in the space where you operate well, where there's consistency, where you know where you stand, where there's clear communication. And when you don't have that, you try to force it and it makes things worse. Okay, so go be in an energy and in a space with people that communicate like you do, and will, or be with somebody that is receptive to that. Okay, so this is what I'm all saying about here, is that you're feeling like there's an ending, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there is an ending. All right? You're feeling defeated, but it doesn't mean if you're involved in a relationship with somebody or even a long-term bond, you're feeling, black or white, it's in or out, you're in or out, stay or go. I'm going, I can't deal with this, okay? Don't get stuck there. And I know you do. And so you force this because at least you know I can just walk in this new direction and there's going to be something else. Okay? They might not feel like that at all. Okay, this is how they feel about the situation, which is interesting. This is the Three of Pentacles. This is the card of extra work, the commissioned work, being recognized for what you do, being recognized for doing it well. So here you are in your head, stressing out, and they might just be thinking that you're working. They might be thinking that you're stressed out over work, but in your mind you have this whole scenario of some major problem and the relationship is over and whatever, I'm moving on anyway, I'm going to be so sad, and they're just thinking you're at work. Okay, I'm taking this to an extreme, but Leo, if you are watching this, you know what I'm talking about. So just calm down, settle down with this, all right? Let things be in that space where it's not black or white, because that's where beauty is, that's where growth is, that's where relationships develop, and you have to let them, you cannot force them, right? Your hopes and fears, the Page of Pentacles. As a hope or a fear, Leo, I don't even know what to say to you about this. This card means study, applying something that you've learned to a scenario, and reflection, okay? Here we go. You're going to get all stressed out, or you do, and after everything is said, and there's silence, and you have a moment to think about what you said, or how you said it, or you have a moment to review those messages. The good thing about all of this, Leo, is you have that capacity to really analyze and apply lessons to your life and moving forward. Very, very good at that. And so as you create this scenario, you're creating this, okay, in your mind, and it could turn into reality if you don't calm down. So after the fact, after the tornado passes through of words and despair, all right, you realize and you reread and you relook at conversations and you examine them and you study and you realize what you really were trying to say versus what you said. You realize what they were really saying that you didn't hear or that you didn't see. And it all becomes clear. Okay? It doesn't mean anything can get fixed, but you learn what you said and why that happened. And you very quickly analyze, and then you can apply it to yourself. You're very good at introspection into scenarios, into yourself, into the world, into a relationship, into a person. You're very good at that. So if you cause this major ending, it might not even be major. If you cause this, looks like you are going to cause this. You will learn from it. And then we will have a new beginning. So yes, this is a card of great force. So you may try to, again, get something started. This is also a card of triumph and success, though. All right? It's a card of great love, great hatred, great force, great triumph. New beginnings. Okay? This is a card of winning. Starting something and winning. So it's a beautiful outcome. I don't know what's going to happen in June, Leo. It seems like it's going to be pretty dramatic for you. For you, not for other people. Other people are just here to help and thinking you're working. Keep that in mind. Other people just think they're proud of you. And you have all these scenarios in your mind. And it's going to stress you out for literally, it seems literally no reason at all. And now I wish I recorded this video for you sooner because we're already on June 3rd and you're stressing out probably. So anyway, Leo, that is your reading for June. Honesty, compassion, tact, and self-deceit. Leo, self-deceit. Honesty in a reading speaks unsurprisingly of the need for straight, declaring, and truth representation. Truth and representation. We need to be scrupulously honest here, making certain that there is no room for confusion or misunderstanding, no fuzzy edges. Because I know how you communicate. You're always coming from a good intention, a good place of intention, and in your mind, it's always very honest. But to the outside world, they feel you're missing pieces of information and you're hiding things, and that is never the case. They just see how you're communicating, and it's different than how they're picking it up. And they're choosing to focus on things that are missed, but you're just not telling them something because you don't want it to feel like it's important, and it's not like you're hiding something on purpose. It's just not, it's like a non-issue. So we need to be scrupulously honest here, making certain that there is no room for confusion or misunderstanding, no fuzzy edges. And you don't do it on purpose, okay? There's no hidden agenda or hidden intention there. It's just how you communicate. Both written and verbal agreements need to be completely clear. Assumptions may not be as well understood by all parties as we are assuming they are, and they need to be tested for comprehension. On a personal level, Leo, honesty reminds us that not only to be clear in what we say and do, but also to act and speak with compassion and tact. Brutal honesty is not usually true honesty at all, but somehow slanted towards the worst. Dishonesty, even in the name of tact, is not helpful either. Balancing on that fine line of loving honesty may take some effort, but will provide rich afterwards. Honesty, honest humility, idealism, and clarity of mind are some of the advantages of honesty. So just be careful how don't get caught up in your mind, because you're going to cause all these scenarios in your mind that are just not there. And then you're going to say things and people are going to say, what are you talking about? All right. Okay, Leo, June's going to be interesting for you. Report back, leave comments, because I'm curious, because I know you so well. All right. Thank you so much, Leo.